Thank you. People die every day from drug overdoses in central Indiana, and an increasing number of those deaths involve the world's most powerful opioid, fentanyl. In fact, looking at numbers from the Indiana Department of Health, 1,002 Hoosiers died from fentanyl overdoses over the first 3 quarters of 2021. That's through September. While the ultimate goal is to end drug use, WRTV's Kelsey Anderson introduces us to a tool aiming to reduce fentanyl deaths.
A standard packet of sugar contains about 4,000 milligrams of sugar, and a lethal dose of fentanyl is about 3 milligrams. That means if this packet of sugar was fentanyl, it could kill potentially 1,300 people. But with this tool, smaller than a stick of gum, it could be the difference between life and death.
I miss him every single day, every day. I talk to him a lot. I do. I know he hears me.
Mary Jo Epping lost her son Joey to a drug overdose in August of last year.
I was in complete and utter shock. I said, "Are you sure that we're talking about Joey? Are you sure it's Joey? Because he doesn't do drugs."
She tells me her son was obsessed with anything that had an engine and was involved in kart racing for years.
He lived large and in charge, and he was very passionate about what he did. I never thought that drugs was going to be what I needed to worry about.
In 2020, fentanyl was the leading cause of death for Americans ages 18 to 45. That's according to statistics from the Centers for Disease Control. In Marion County alone, there were 507 overdose deaths with fentanyl in 2020, and that number was even higher in 2021.
And it only takes a small amount to take someone's life.
Johnson County Coroner Michael Pruitt says already this year they've had 20 overdose deaths. They've found traces of fentanyl in 80% of them.
Whether or not those individuals knew that they were taking fentanyl, no one may ever know.
His department will soon start bringing a new tool to the scene of suspected overdose deaths.
We're going to start carrying the fentanyl test strips in the coroner's office so that we can test substances that we believe might be fentanyl.
So realistically, you're just going to open up the test strip by pulling off that top piece.
Here in Indiana, Overdose Lifeline is making these test strips available to everyone.
In Marion County, since January 1st, I think we've distributed more than 5,000.
Bree Baldwin manages harm reduction for Overdose Lifeline. She says the fentanyl test strip help promote consent as well as informed choices.
They're basically used just to make sure that somebody has the option to know if fentanyl is in their supply and then can make that informed choice of whether or not they're going to continue to use or use less or not use at all.
Users will have to use a small amount of their drugs for the test that takes just 30 seconds. But Bree says this minuscule amount could be life-saving.
In the grand scheme of things, a lot of times that loss of supply is going to make up for itself with the reward of knowing if there's fentanyl in your supply or not. They're filled up probably about once a week on average.
At Overdose Lifeline, they tell me fentanyl is everywhere, not just in opioids, but also being pressed into prescription pills.
And we've seen people as young as 14 who have tested their Adderall or their Xanax or a pill that they've gotten illicitly, and it have fentanyl in it, unfortunately. So the most important part is that people, no matter what substance they're using, are all at risk of fentanyl overdose.
I'm sure if he used, he knew about fentanyl, but he did not know about test strips.
Had he known about test strips, had they been readily available, you believe he would have used them?
I believe Joey would have used test strips for sure. And I think had he used them, we'd be having a very different interview right now. We'd be talking about a very lucky young man whose life was saved.
The state of Indiana has made overdose fatality review boards across the state. In Johnson County, Coroner Mike Pruitt says their review board goes over what happened, what treatment or services were offered to the deceased, and how they might be able to help others so they don't fall victim to an overdose too. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, we want to be able to help you get the resources you need. You can call 211 24/7 for recovery help. The Indiana Addiction Hotline also has people ready to help. Their number is 1-800-622-HELP. To get naloxone or the fentanyl test strips, visit overdoselifeline.org.